So this is the introduction to my new longevity lecture for 2024. Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is David Reinprecht. I'm a functional nutritionist. I'm born in Europe, in Austria. And when I was about 12 years old, that's the time when you start liking girls and the testosterone is kicking in. And there was one girl in particular I liked, but I was way too shy to go up to her and say something. So for some reason, I was writing a little, note, love note, if you will. But I was still too shy to give it to her, so I was hiding it under my desk. And of course, it didn't take long, and my classmates, exposed me. And at first, she was all happy. It's like, "Oh, who gave it to me? Who gave it to me?" And then when she found out it was for me, she came up to me and she goes, "Did you give that to me? Like, what do you think? I'm going to go with you? Look at you, you're fat." And as you can imagine, at that age, it was like a slap in my face. But I'm actually grateful that she did that because you know, um, she started an entire career for me. From that moment on, not only I lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks running every day after school and only eating one or two apples, didn't know any better back then. And yeah, and I was so hungry, for information. I was reading every single week all the new fitness magazines that came out. I wanted to know everything about nutrition, about fitness, on how to build the body and how it works so that nobody ever can say that to me again. And yeah, and that's how I got started. And then of course I went to college. I was studying nutritional science. Came to the United States, also become a functional nutrition practitioner, and so on. So my entire life I dedicated in researching nutrition and fitness. I'm also a master personal trainer, and I'm also a longevity guru. And that's what this is about. All right, let's get started. So let's start with our healthcare system. The way our healthcare system is set up, you have to be sick first with one of these age-related diseases, such as Alzheimer, heart disease, metabolic diseases, arthritis, the list goes on, before you can get any help from your insurance or doctor. And as a matter of fact, if you want to do anything for preventative reasons, most likely insurance won't even cover it. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because we are at a time in history where it's actually much easier to reverse the aging process and keep those age-related diseases away, or at least, drag it out, than waiting until you have one and then try to, fight it with, drugs and radiation and whatnot. So let's talk about aging. What is aging? We all know what aging looks like, and we all know what it feels like. But what really is it on a cellular level? Aging, in my opinion, and also some of the experts, is a disease. If you think about it, all the age-related diseases come because of the aging process. And that comes down to the methylation, which we talk about, later. So aging is a loss of information due to entropy. As an analogy, if I would tell my friend a story, and then that friend repeats the same story to another friend, and that friend repeats the story to another friend, and so on, we know well enough, if the same story goes to 50 people, that story will change. There will be some loss of information of the original story. And when it comes to the aging process, and the methylation, it's in a similar pattern. So the way we measure aging is we have the chronological aging, which is basically very primitive. We measure aging on how many times Earth goes around the sun. And a more accurate way, in my opinion, is the biological aging, which we can measure these days with DNA methylation testing. Dr. Horvath from UCLA, that happened to be from the same country, from Austria, he invented that clock, which measures 353 methylation markers, telomere length, hormone, oxidative stress, inflammation, and so on. And you get a very accurate picture on your current biological age. Now, you could be 40 years old, but the methylation tells you 30, or you could be 40 years old and it says you're 50. And that's why, we all look different, even though we might be the same age according to time, but some people look older and some people look younger. And If you want to know an interesting story, how all this started was with twins. I don't know the exact time frame, maybe 30, 40 years ago, because we always thought that there's no way we can impact the aging process. It's written in our DNA and we cannot change our DNA. You're victim of your DNA and that's it. Well, there were twins. They never seen each other. They were separated. They didn't even know each other that they, had a brother. One grew up in a city in a not so healthy lifestyle. The other one grew up on a farm, with out in nature and, organic food and stuff. And after 37 years, when they met for the first time, people were like, wait a minute, are they supposed to be twins? They're supposed to be genetically identical. So how come that one looks so much older and even is losing his hair, and the other one's so much younger with a full set of hair? They're genetically the same, right? Well, and that's when people looked into aging as, hey, maybe we can influence the aging process. Maybe we don't have to age as quick and we can slow it down. And that was the opening of, the aging and the research on that. And now because of David Sinclair, thanks to him, and the NMN research and resveratrol, he actually really, put that out there. And since then, it has become mainstream and investors, actually put billions of dollars in there in the hope that one day we can stop the aging process. All right, so there are two types of information in our DNA. One, as an analogy for better understanding, is digital, which means digital, it cannot be changed. That's 20% of your DNA. But 80% we found out is epigenetics. And epigenetics responds to nutrition, lifestyle, love, community, having a positive outlook in life. And that has a huge impact on your epigenetics. We used to think that, oh, I'm a victim to my genes, I can do nothing about it. I look older because my genes, Well, that excuse doesn't, work no more because we know now that 80% is up to you. So that means that 80% is in your hands on how fast you want to age and also on how fast you're going to get those age-related diseases. End of the story. 20%, yes, you cannot change. If you want to say you're victim to the 20%, I take that. But 80% is up to you. Okay, let's talk about the epigenome. The epigenome is like, as an analogy, a DVD player, like David Sinclair liked to say. A DVD player, reads a CD. And so at certain times, this song has to play in this cell, and at other times, that song has to play in that cell. And if everything, comes on at the right time and it plays the right, music at the right cells, then you have this perfect harmonic symphony and everything is working perfectly, right? But aging is like scratches on a CD. And we all know when the CD is scratched, the song might get distorted or even it would jump from one song to the next. So how that translates in our, genome is it might play the wrong cell at the wrong time. And how that translates in the human body is we have seen like a nerve cell or skin cell even light up in the brain, but it shouldn't be there. But that happens, and that happens when the methylation, gets messed up. And that, in a nutshell, if you will, to explain it really simply, is the hallmark of aging. It's a loss of information, but the good news is, if you watch my series of my longevity lectures, which I will post here, week after week, I can teach you and show you that you're not victim of your genes. And yes, we can reverse the aging process. Myself, I reversed my aging process by 13 years, and at least according to that DNA methylation testing. Next week, I'm 47. Most people think, I'm in my mid-30s. I take that. And that's also because, I always eat right, do sports, put my body through adversity, sauna, cold plunge, fitness, fasting. So those short stresses, help you to activate those longevity pathways, especially the sirtuins, which we're going to talk about way more in the next lecture. So stay tuned and let me know. And if you have any questions in the comment section, let me know. We'd be happy to answer that. All right, so the next one.